Let Grandma pay. It's free, so eat a lot. Apparently, that's what Patricia, the wife of the eldest son, said. Having not been informed about treating her to a high-end steak, I was taken aback and couldn't help but speak up. While on the phone with my eldest son Andrew, Patricia snatched the phone to explain herself. Determined to get treated, I began questioning Patricia. Where is that steak from anyway? Huh? Why? Just tell me, what's the restaurant's name? Hearing my serious tone, Patricia replied, seemingly annoyed. It's a high-end steak place in the next town over. Is it this place, by any chance? When I mentioned the restaurant's name, Patricia let out a startled, off-key scream. My name is Taylor. I'm 78 years old. I've been in this industry for about 50 years. By this industry, I mean the food and beverage sector. My life changed dramatically after marrying Walford, a chef. Originally working in an office, this culinary world was new to me. I learned the ropes while often being scolded by Walford and the waitstaff. Of course, I understood their scolding was out of love, so I never took it to heart. Instead, I'm the kind who's pretty stubborn. With a determination to prove myself, I worked hard every day. Andrew, filet mignon for table 3. Medium rare and make it quick. On it. Our restaurant was always bustling, but my husband and I supported each other, running it with joy. Our eldest son Andrew also worked in the kitchen and helped out with the business until he went independent. He had thought about taking over Walford's restaurant, but decided he wanted to try running his own place. We respected Andrew's decision. A few years later, Andrew completed his training and finally realized his dream of opening his own restaurant. The big day's here, Andrew. Do your best. I don't know how far I can go, but I'll make it as successful as Dad's place. Seeing our son so happy and confident, we couldn't be prouder. Soon after opening his restaurant, Andrew also married Patricia, whom he's been dating for some time. Life seemed perfect. We thought Andrew and Patricia would lead a happy life. Little did we know this marriage would change the dynamics of our family. Our restaurant was a prominent steakhouse known for its high-quality meat. The clientele was mostly adults. While we did have families, the ambiance felt a bit formal, making it intimidating for younger individuals. In contrast, Andrew's place was designed as a family-friendly diner. Such a restaurant was rare in the countryside, so word spread quickly and it was a hit. The flavor was outstanding, and it was especially popular among children. The unique characters in the kid menu, and the wide variety of desserts that women loved, helped the restaurant quickly become a local favorite. As a parent, I couldn't be prouder, and it became a point of pride for us. I never thought my son would become this successful after striking out on his own. Every time we received compliments from customers, we were so overjoyed that we would often give away dishes for free. But then, there were those who took advantage of our kindness, becoming arrogant and condescending. "Ah, Taylor, how nice to see you," said Patricia, our eldest son's wife. On that day, I happened to run into her at the supplier's supermarket, which marked the beginning of our encounter. As soon as she saw me, she laughed at me with a look of contempt in her eyes. For some reason, she despised and was hostile toward me, often making snide remarks. I anticipated her usual sarcastic comments. "Out shopping again? It's impressive that you can still run the store at your age." Her words didn't surprise me or catch me off guard. I sighed at her typical way of speaking. But I had grown accustomed to a life where people envied us. It was no surprise, as my husband Walford was a handsome and famous local chef. That should be it. Because Walford was a so-called handsome chef who was famous locally, it caused quite a stir in our community. People from his class and our acquaintances came to celebrate the generational change, and the restaurant was busier than ever. Apparently, there were even female customers who frequented the restaurants in hopes of dating Walford. That's how I married Walford. And indeed, our relationship faced several crises due to romantic entanglements. But over time, I grew mentally stronger and was often teased for my thick skin. Of course, until we can't move anymore, Walford and I will continue working passionately, no matter how old we get. Well, do your best, I suppose. But you'll never catch up to our restaurant, she retorted. While our restaurant was also profitable, Andrew's restaurant, which Patricia was referring to, was even more successful and always bustling with customers. When the restaurant first opened, we relied on Walford to help out. But now they had more employees, and everything seemed to be running smoothly. Patricia often compared our restaurant to theirs, belittling us in the process. What was the point of saying such things? Before I knew it, my thoughts had turned into words. What's the point of competing with a family restaurant? Why do you always say such pointless things? Who would be envious of their son's successful restaurant? While you say that, you're probably envying us and speaking ill of us behind our backs. We know everything. You can look down on us all you want for now, but remember, the ones who will suffer in the end are you, Taylor, and your family. With those ominous words, Patricia snorted and walked away without listening to what I had to say. I was left standing there, dumbfounded by her audacity. Unfortunately, her harassment didn't stop there. It only got worse. She spread rumors about our restaurant and wrote negative reviews on social media. Eventually, rumors started circulating that I was a sinister mother-in-law who was spreading false information about Patricia. Of course I had never said any such things. I hadn't even talked about our family issues with anyone. I was truly at a loss, to the point where I was bedridden for days out of shock. Why do I have to go through all this? What did I do? Slowly, my pent-up feelings turned into irritation, and a sense of hatred began to engulf me. Patricia was not like this before we got married. She was lovely and had the perfect personality for customer service. In fact, just before they got married, she was helping out at our shop because she wanted to improve her customer service skills if Andrew was going to open a store. Customers loved her and she was often praised. I even told my son that he had married a good person. But something changed after Andrew's shop opened. Patricia's attitude has changed. I still don't know what triggered Patricia's attitude to change. Even when I try to talk to her, she just kicks me aside and refuses to have a proper conversation. Now, I can hardly remember any interactions with her that weren't filled with sarcasm. Then, a few days later, something happened. I was out with Walford when I got a call from Andrew. Hello? Hey, Mom, is now a good time? Yes, I'm fine. What's up? I could tell from Andrew's low tone and serious manner that something was up, and I naturally straightened up to listen. Did Patricia tell you anything today? Huh? What do you mean? I was surprised by his sudden question and inadvertently gave a dumbfounded reply. But Andrew, seemingly in a hurry, continued. Did Patricia tell you anything about treating you to a meal or something like that? No, I haven't heard anything like that. Why? I thought, then that's it. That means, have you had any trouble? I was completely puzzled and asked him what he was talking about, and Andrew hesitated before explaining the situation. Actually, Patricia has her friends over at my place today, and they ordered some high-end steaks. Oh, that's nice. Everyone deserves a little treat now and then. Regardless of how much I disliked her, that was a different matter. We work in the same industry, so I understand the hardships and struggles. A little reward now and then is only natural. That's what I thought, but Andrew seemed to have something else to say. It's fine for them to order steaks, but the words they used were a bit off. What did they say? I asked, and Andrew hesitated, stuttering and finding it difficult to get the words out. I had a feeling it was about me, and sure enough, my face twisted in anger when he finally spoke. They said they'll have the old lady pay for it. It's free, so eat up. That's what Patricia was talking about, I said, raising my voice in surprise. At the same time, my anger reached its peak when I found out I had been referred to in that way, and my tone naturally became rougher. Who did you say was an old lady? I haven't agreed to pay, and I haven't been informed of anything. No, you're right. I was surprised to hear the term old lady too. I thought it would be Mom. But then I overheard her talking to a regular customer, and it sounded just like you, Mom. A regular customer? Yeah, Patricia is friends with a woman who comes to the store often. They became friends after she started coming here to eat. She's here having a meal today. I see, but I wasn't informed of any of this. While we were talking, I suddenly heard a noise from the other end of the phone line, and Andrew's voice became frantic as the person on the other end of the line changed. Hello? Is this Taylor? This is Patricia. It seems that Patricia had taken the mobile phone from Andrew and answered the call. Patricia, what's going on? Did you hear from Andrew? If so, that makes things easier. So please treat me. Her words were delivered in a sweet, cajoling tone that honestly irritated me. But, of course, I didn't let my irritation show in my attitude and spoke calmly. Listen, Patricia, just because we're family, do you think you can get away with doing something like that without permission? It's annoying how you're so strict about money. It's no big deal. You're making a decent profit at Walford's place anyway. Hey, Patricia, who do you think you're talking to? Andrew, be quiet. Patricia's words were shocking, and I was honestly taken aback. And Andrew, too, probably heard for the first time how she was behaving towards me. He tried to intervene, but was dismissed by her. A steak is nothing for the income of you, right? I'm asking why you would make someone treat you without saying anything and without their consent. I'm Andrew's wife. You should be willing to treat me as a reward. What is this girl talking about? After being found out, she became defiant and didn't even apologize. The things she was saying were unbelievable, and I was so shocked that I couldn't find the words to respond. Thanks for the steak anyway. I was speechless, and Patricia tried to forcibly end the conversation, but I stopped her. By the way, which restaurant's steak is it? What? Why? Just tell me the name of the restaurant. Patricia, annoyed as if to say, what the hell is this woman on about, spat out the words. It's a high-class steakhouse in the next town. Are you talking about this place? I said, telling her the name of the restaurant. When I did, Patricia let out a surprised, off-pitch voice. What? Why do you know the name of that restaurant? Because this is the place run by Walford's disciples. I said and changed the screen to a video call, telling her to look at the screen. And what was captured there was precisely the present moment. The restaurant where they had ordered the luxury steaks they were eating, and where my husband and I were dining. She had placed the order over the phone, so she seemingly didn't know that we were at the restaurant. Moreover, it seemed that they had arrived earlier than us, and the only person aware of the situation was the chef. After we arrived, the chef consulted us, saying that our eldest son's wife had billed the order to us, and I had been waiting for her to contact us. The surprise until now was a performance set up to keep her from realizing it. It was meant to be a small act of revenge. Actually, from the start, I had been informed of the whole situation. We were here because Walford, worried about me being bedridden, had kindly invited me out for a meal to lift my spirits. Hearing this, the chef had been considerate enough to treat us to a meal in the rented-out restaurant, and she had disturbed such a blissful time. This level of retaliation is rather gentle, I'd say. Well then, I'll be counting on you to pay. Patricia seemed momentarily flustered upon realizing that the restaurant she ordered from had been exposed, but then she brazenly reassured herself that it was all right since she was there. She seemed to have confirmed in her mind that she would be treated. I chuckled inwardly at her and smiled. Too bad. I've already heard the situation from the chef, so the bill will be sent to you guys as planned. What? Gone was the sweet, ingratiating voice she had used just before to curry favor. By her side, Andrew let out a surprised gasp at her reaction, now that she had revealed her true nature. But Patricia, undaunted, raised her voice threateningly and started to spew out words. Of course, why should we treat you when we don't even know the circumstances, let alone pay for your unknown friends? As a mother-in-law, you should be willing to do that much. Aren't we family? Don't give me that line just when it suits you. Do you think I'm unaware of all the snide remarks and harassment you've put me through, taking advantage of Andrew's ignorance? I have my limits too. I wanted her to realize just how wrong she was, and so I spoke my mind. Perhaps that's why my tone had naturally become stronger, causing Patricia to stutter in frustration. Now that we're on the subject, let me ask you, why did you start treating me this way? You weren't like this in the beginning. Did I do something to you? The harassment I had endured without understanding why. If I had done something wrong, I wanted to apologize and resolve it. I was truly sick of our strained relationship. But the words that came out of her mouth were completely unexpected. I've told you before, I heard from a customer that you've been speaking ill of me, spreading rumors in the neighborhood that I'm not a good daughter-in-law. As she spoke, Patricia let out a frustrated cry. I sighed deeply in exasperation. Like I've said before, I haven't spoken a word of that. I don't know who the customer is, but do you think it's acceptable to harass me without even confirming the rumor with me? If I really said such things, bring the customer who told you so. Because I have the person right here if you want to change your tune. Suddenly, Patricia became assertive. As it turned out, the friend she had invited today was the very person who had been manipulating her with false stories. Walford and I thanked the head chef, paid our bill, and left the restaurant. Driving for a while, as we approached my eldest son's home, I noticed a familiar bicycle by the entrance. Is this bike? Could it be? Rushing inside, I was shocked to see a woman devouring a steak in the living room. The moment she saw me, she choked on her steak. Long time no see. How long has it been since you were banned from our place? I flashed a wicked grin, and she visibly trembled. Wait, you two know each other? Unable to answer Patricia's question, I explained for her. She's an old fan of Walford's, banned from our restaurant. At that, both Patricia and Andrew gasped. She couldn't handle me marrying Walford. She harassed us constantly, so we banned her. And all those bad things you said about Taylor? Obviously all lies. Who in their right mind would badmouth their family to a customer out of spite? Shaking my head in disbelief, I confronted the two with a big smile. You've pulled some stunts, huh? Thinking I should treat you, badmouthing our restaurant, and spreading false rumors about me talking ill of my daughter-in-law. How do you plan to answer for that? Walford and Andrew later told me my smile was devilish during that confrontation. Patricia and the woman looked scared. Patricia clung to Andrew's leg, crying. Andrew, it's not what you think. She deceived me. Please believe me. I was unwittingly part of it. Hearing this, Andrew was furious. He yelled at Patricia for taking the woman's word over his mother's. I know you've been talking a lot about Mom and her shop. You didn't even check with Mom about the facts. So why are you saying such a shameful thing? Don't think you'll get away with it for free. Really? Trying to escape, the woman was quickly restrained by her husband. Patricia seemed to accept her fate, and I decided to contact a lawyer friend of mine. With evidence of their online slander and the lies they spread, both faced defamation charges. The woman accepted her fate, but Patricia kept insisting she was manipulated by the woman. She wanted to fight the charges, but she couldn't afford it. Andrew didn't want to waste money on it either. Disillusioned, he proposed a divorce to Patricia, leading to an unexpected divorce mediation and defamation case. In the end, she was found guilty of defamation and had to pay $5,000 in damages. Currently, the divorce mediation is still ongoing, but it is expected to be approved for the most part. Andrew was feeling down for a while, but fortunately, the shop has been busy, so he didn't have much time to dwell on it. As time passed, his expression gradually brightened. Then, as a family, we visited the high-end steak restaurant we had been to before. The chef invited us to dine in, free of charge, as a kind gesture to cheer up Andrew and me. Wow, this is the most delicious steak I've ever had, exclaimed Andrew. Indeed. I never thought you would become such a fine craftsman back in our disciple days, but I can see why you've become famous, I agreed. If Patricia hadn't done such a foolish thing, she could be here enjoying this steak with us, Andrew lamented. We all agreed and could even laugh about it now, as our family had healed and recovered. Thanks to the chef's thoughtful gesture, we were treated to an extra special service that day. Enjoying a delicious steak with my beloved family was the best time ever.